Hello, beautiful bookworms. My name is Faina, and welcome to my small corner of bookish paradise. You know what they say, new year, new me, right? No, new year, new books. And hey, I'm not only talking about new releases that are coming out this year to be read, I'm talking about doing a justice to my TBR pile. To those who don't know, TBR stands for to be read. And basically, it's all the books that you want to read. If you are a lunatic like me, you go out, buy books, put them aside somewhere in your shelf or wherever, and you never read them. Yes, that is what I do. However, I decided to do a service to my TBR pile or my to be read pile and actually go through some books and actually read them. Many of the books that I want to read this year are previous releases and new releases. Hopefully this makes a tiny dent in my TBR pile. I have a problem. I set myself up for failure. I assume every book I'm going to read is going to be 5-star. Why do I do that? Just because I like to read. I have a really, really bad habit. Like as soon as I pick up a book that has a nice cover and the plot seems decent, that's it. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be a 5-star read because I like it before reading. I pre-like it. But of course, that's never the case. Not all books I pick up are 5 stars. I've come across many instances where I would pick up a series and I would read book 1 and I would give it a solid 5 stars because of its excellent work. But then I would read the second one in the hopes that it'll also be 5 stars. And then I give it like 3 stars. For example, a couple of years ago, I read Serpent and Dove, and that's actually one of the books that got me back into reading. If you guys don't know, I actually made a video about my little journey of taking like a 5-year break between reading and not reading. So this book helped me come back into this realm of literature. Naturally, I gave it 5 stars, not because it's one of like the books that brought me back into reading, but I truly enjoyed the characters there. The story was great. I didn't see anything wrong with it. I gave it a solid 5 stars. Fast forward to the second book called Blood and Honey. Obviously, I was very excited to read that book because I really liked the first one. I had given it 5 stars. And what happened? I read half of it. I stopped. I thought I was going to just DNF it. I'm not going to read it ever again because I was so disappointed. But I said, no, I'm going to do it justice. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I will finish this book. I did finish the book, and unfortunately, the ending did not save the beginning. In other words, I actually rated the book 3 stars. Fast forward even further, I guess the proper way to say it. Fast forward, I can't say it fast, oh my God. Fast forward further, book 3 comes out, Gods and Monsters. Was I excited about the release? A little, because I like the theme that they had going with the cover. But I've owned the 3rd book for a few months now, and honestly, I don't even think I'm gonna read it. So, sorry about that little rant of Serpent and Dove. Let's go back to feeding my bad habit of giving high expectations for books. But first, I need your help. My husband made a promise that when I hit 1,000 subscribers, he's gonna take me on a massive book shopping spree. In other words, he's gonna take me to Barnes & Nobles and we're gonna have a major book haul. So please subscribe so I can take you guys on that journey with me. All the books I'm gonna talk about today are basically 5-star predictions for these books. I will be creating a video once I finish reading all of these books and see, was I correct or was I not? And we're gonna have a repeat of like Blood and Honey, but that's for another day. The first book that I believe is gonna be a 5-star read is called Vespertine. And let's start off by saying, I accidentally bought this book. Well, okay, I can't actually say accidentally bought it because there was a time period where I was conscious and actually bought it, but then I forgot about it. Long story short, I was scrolling through my Bookstagram and Fairy Loot had posted a pre-order of this stunning book, Vespertine, and they had just this image there and I said, damn, that's a very beautiful book. It literally, I bought it just because of the cover, because they said it was gonna be gold sprayed edges, this stunning bear cover, and it's signed by the author. And I was like, all right, sold. I didn't read the plot. I didn't do any research on this book. I straight up just bought it because of the cover and because of the author. But let's just say when you pre-order something, you pre-order it for months at a time, right? So I hit pre-order, I bought it, they took the money from my account, and I forgot all about it. And then fast forward, I think it was like 5 or 6 months, I have a package on my doorstep, and I remember my husband picking it up going, "Oh, did we order something?" And I'm like, "I didn't order anything." And he's like, "It feels like a book, are you sure?" And I'm like, "I have not bought a book. I've been good. I have not been buying books." We open it up, it's a book. Do I regret my decision? No. Did I once open it to read it? No. Has it been collecting dust on my shelves for months now? Yes. That's going to change because I finally took the time to do some research about this book, and I can say, based on the author alone, I know it's gonna be 5 stars. Margaret Rogerson wrote a book called Sorcery of Thorns. If you haven't heard of it, it's basically a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. When I read that book, I was skeptical about it. I do like Beauty and the Beast retellings. This one sounded a little different than the ones that I've read, but I'd given it 5 stars. To summarize, we have a malevolent being that's coming to threaten the world and life itself. You have a convent of sisters that are undergoing training. What these Grey Sisters, as they're called, are training for is basically cleansing bodies of the deceased so they can pass to the other life, basically for their soul to pass on. And basically, a Vespertine is a priestess that is trained to yield this high relic. So I'm looking forward to reading this. If you guys don't know by now, I am a victim of mass destruction, MAAS. Get it? For those who don't, I am sorry. There's an author. Her name is Sarah J. Maas. She writes incredible series and incredible books. You gotta go check her out. But anyways, the next book on our list is A Sky of House and Breath. What did I just say? A Sky of House and Breath? The second book is Whoa, I keep messing that up. The second book is House of Sky and Breath. This is the second book in the Crescent City series. I had read the first book, instant 5 stars. Amazing. And again, this is a repeat author for me. I've read a number of her works, and because I gave the first book 5 stars, I will be expecting, I'm telling you, I have very high expectations, even though yes, it is a bad habit. I've had my heart broken in the past about 3 stars for a second book and whatever. No, I know she's not gonna let me down. A Court of Thorns and Roses will forever be engraved in my heart as one of my favorite books of all time. I haven't read the Throne of Glass series yet, and yes, shame on me. How am I supposed to call myself an SJM fan without having to have read that series? But I will very, very soon, and I really hope this year. But that means going out and buying these books, and don't tell my husband that, please. That reminds me, I should get a new library card. My other one expired. Going back to the book, it really invoked a lot of emotions. I remember crying so hard that I couldn't see. So just based off of the emotional responses the first book gave me, I feel like the second one is going to be amazing. The third book on my list of 5-star predictions for this year is called House in the Cerulean Sea. Earlier this year, I joined a 12-month challenge that was started by this fantastic bookstagrammer. And for those who don't know, Bookstagram is basically all things bookish on Instagram. The link to my Bookstagram is down in the description below, so check it out so that we can be friends. But going back to that, on Bookstagram, there was a 12-month challenge where you post on your story a question, and people were giving you suggestions on what to read for that year. It's basically 12 books recommended by 12 different friends in the span of 12 months. I'm gonna be making a whole video on my 12-book challenge, so stay tuned for that. One of the books that somebody had recommended to me is House in the Cerulean Sea. I have seen this book circulating on Bookstagram since the very first day that it came out, and I believe it came out sometime in 2020. It has a very high Goodreads rating, and everyone I have spoken to has given it 5 stars. There's a couple of reasons why. I did a little digging. No, I never spoil books for myself. Anything I read is just going off of Goodreads on the synopsis that they have there. And what I found there is a gorgeous cast of creatures such as not werewolves, but were-Pomeranians. Unidentifiable green blobs, but I heard they have great personalities. That's not the only reason why I think this is gonna be a 5-star read for me. Let me read you some reviews I found. This first review is so sweet. It says, This book is a big, warm, comforting hug wrapped up in a novel, and it's one of the most hopeful fantasy novels I've ever read. The second review is actually by the author V.E. Schwab, and if you guys know, I really love this author. She says, "I loved it. It is like being wrapped up in a big gay blanket. Simply perfect." Okay, you should have led with that. I'm gonna read it. The fourth book that I believe is going to be a 5-star read for me this year is called Monsters Born and Made. Growing up, I was a huge fan of The Hunger Games, and I'm talking about when the books just came out, not when the movies came out. The movies were okay. I think I only watched the first 2 when they came out, what was it, like a decade ago? I don't know. But the books always have a place in my heart. So what are we looking at in this book? Well, it's a South Asian inspired fantasy world. It's very similar because we have this exclusive royal elites who host tournaments. These tournaments, however, they're reserved for the upper class. So not like Hunger Games where everyone has to participate. No, only the upper class are allowed to participate. In the end, if you survive, the last remaining person wins all the gold and glory. When we look at the main character, without revealing too much or spoiling anything, she is struggling financially. What does she do? She cheats her way into the tournaments. I guess she's just trying to find a way to survive and win all of that gold. Oh, and did I forget to mention that the setting of this is on this island surrounded by a crazy oceanic world, meaning the water is filled with very scary sea monsters. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, I like Hunger Games. I had given it 5 stars back in the day. This one is very Hunger Games-esque. I might give it a 5-star rating. The fifth and final book that I believe is gonna earn 5 stars is Kingdom of the Wicked. Why do I think it's gonna be 5 stars? One reason. Spicy, spicy, spicy. Am I a sucker for dark romance? Yes, I am. Do I think this is gonna be 5 stars just because it's a dark romance? Yes, I do. All jokes aside, everyone who has recommended this book to me has said that it's incredible, that it deserves 5 stars, and they were just raving about it. I definitely enjoy books that have some kind of paranormal aspect to it, ones that have witches in it, and I heard that this book does contain witches. And from what I understand, we have 2 sisters, some kind of brutal murder that occurred, and a devilishly handsome bad boy. No, but what it actually said was a quest of vengeance that'll unleash hell itself. So we use some dark magic to conjure up some evil person, and this person is one of the wicked, which are pretty much the princes of hell. Long story short, I don't even think I need to read it to give it 5 stars, but I really hope I won't be disappointed because it really is a hyped up book. It's very easy to just throw some 5-star predictions, here and there. So I will be making a video following up to see, was I correct on these predictions or was I terribly wrong? If you enjoy these kinds of videos, please don't forget to hit the like button. And if you want to know more about some 2022 releases that I want to read, click on this video right over here. And please don't forget to subscribe so you can watch me drain my bank account on that massive book haul. But until then, thanks for joining me in my small corner of bookish paradise.